Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kotodama Podcast. This is episode 2. I'm so excited. And I have my beautiful guest here with me today, Bitsy the Alien. I'm not sure, in fact, if she is an extraterrestrial. We will find out. Um, yeah, my name is Janem. Welcome to the podcast again. And yeah, so Bitsy, you are actually with me in Tokyo. We're not in the same room right now, but we both live in Tokyo. We both met in Tokyo, and you're actually a friend of mine. And
Yeah,
yeah, I'm so happy that you're here to be my second guest and that you're supporting the show. A little bit about
of
you.
course.
You are a VTuber, you're an artist, you're a manga-ka, and basically an entrepreneur. And I think you do a lot of different things. You're very artistic. I find you very, very inspiring. So I'm really excited for this talk today. And I just want it to be us. And I feel like, yeah, we can just talk about everything that we normally talk about. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm really glad that you were able to put your aspiration together and get it working and going and live. And it's great to see it going. And I can't wait to see, you know, 5 years down the line, and you've got this amazing podcast going, and we'll be like, remember that first one?
Oh my God, honestly, yes. I mean, just a little bit about the podcasting again, because this is my second episode. So yeah, you were actually super, super supportive, and you also used to have a podcast.
Yes. You
Can
can
you
find the
tell me?
old episodes. You can find the
Yes.
old episodes on Isekai Studios' YouTube channel. The channel's not really doing much at the moment. I made it specifically for the studio that I have. So I have an LLC and we're doing business as Isekai because we build worlds and tell stories on different worlds, and I hire artists and stuff, and we do a whole bunch of stuff. But part of the inspiration, like I wanted to talk about world building. So we did that for a little while during the phase when I was doing a lot of Kickstarters. And I got a little overwhelmed, had to pull back, had to stop doing too much. So we ended up stopping the Kickstarter. But hopefully we'll get a little bit more going on that as I build more team members. So we've been, it's coming around.
That's so exciting. I mean, isekai in Japanese, good world, I guess you could say. Good earth. And
Yeah.
so was that the idea, yeah? So what kind of world building are you talking about?
Well, when most people think about stories that are set on other worlds, they a lot of the time you don't consider the actual planet and the world building for the planet. So something I always had a passion for is video games tend to go really deep into their planets. So I kind of wanted to bring that to more traditional comics, more like animation media, and it's been happening, just as more and more people have a passion for lore and world building and creating deeper stories. It's kind of been happening naturally, but something I've noticed is the isekai genre specifically, like in Japan, the genre isekai means like other worlds, and they tend to always follow the same path of tropes and they never focus on the world. And that's bothered me. So I slapped a couple other E's in front. So it's better other worlds. So it's the E and then isekai. So you've got both of those. So it's better other worlds because we want to build anime specific manga, animations, and, games one day that all have deep lore, great world building, and story or character driven stories. So that interact really uniquely with the world and
That's so
planet.
cool. Is that because like how did this passion start? I mean, you sound very passionate about it, and I know world building just from I used to game a bit when I was younger, but now I'm more into books. Actually, I also don't really do I don't watch many movies actually either. Sometimes I'm into a few, like, I guess you could say, like TV shows, but I'm
Mhm.
not, so I go a little bit into it sometimes. Like, for example, I don't know, when I was reading Harry Potter or watching Harry Potter, right? Like the world building behind Harry Potter, I'm like kind of going into that, and like there's a lot of thought there, right? Or the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings or things like that. I'm not too,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know too much about that, but I know people are really like fans of specific mangas or fans of specific movies and books. They go really deep into that. So I think you said deep lore. I guess that's the word. I
Yes.
didn't know that's the word. But so where does that passion come from? Like, I mean, have you always been passionate about, how did you, yeah, how
I
did you?
think it started when I was really young. We so the a lot of people know Skyrim. You probably have heard of the video game Skyrim. So their series, the Elder Scrolls series, it's all takes place on Nirn. That's their planet. And I started playing back when Morrowind was their, current game, when Oblivion was just coming out. So, playing through the different parts of the world from Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, seeing not just how much history that they put into the game that you can interact with, but how much it kind of continues through the sequels and how your actions kind of shape the world was always something that was just really invigorating, I guess. I just loved it. I just soaked it in. I spent hours playing those games. And I think a lot of my love for world building comes from that, as well as the fact that we would play a lot of role-playing games like tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons growing up. So my neighbor would play Mech Warrior with us. He taught
What
us the
is that?
mechanics and we'd have our little mechs. I know it's pretty niche. Not a lot of people know about it, but you have to like use a ruler and dice and measure and stuff. And it's got all this backstory about why the mechs are fighting. So it's like taking that, and then when we got a little older, we started playing more character-based stuff like Shadowrun and Dungeons and Dragons as like a family with my cousins. So I've always had this affinity to stories, and whenever we would play with toys as kids, I would always insist there was a central like story or world or something going on. It's like you can't
Oh
break
my
the rules.
God.
These are the rules of the world. You can't just crash your cars together. These Hot Wheel cars are in a specific world doing a specific thing. We're trying to achieve a goal here. So I always I don't know why, I just always had that. Even my first drawings, I was never good at drawing. I've become a good professional artist, but it wasn't like a natural talent. So I look at my old like kid scribbles, and they're real bad little like triangle people, but these triangle people have an entire world. You've got the
Oh
pointy
my
people
God.
with their pointy houses and their pointy animals and their whole pointy lives. So I've always kind of been into that. Can't really explain it.
I love that. That's so funny. I mean, that's so interesting because I mean, I was never too deep into like anime or something, but I guess for a while I was reading some mangas. Like, for example, Paradise Kiss, Parakis. I don't know if you know. It's
Haven't heard of
quite
it.
old. Oh my God, I'm showing my age here. But at the time, like, I was really interested in that manga. It's just five, it just has five books, I guess. But I never thought about, I never, I think for me, it's always characters. I focus on the characters. So if I fall in love with a character in a story, it could be a book, a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a manga, it could be anything. Once I fall in love with the character, I'm intrigued, but I never too deeply think about the world. So I think it's so interesting how we're two different people, right? But if we would read the same story and we would both, let's say we would both fall in love with it, we would fall in love for different reasons with that world. I think that's really interesting because I've never talked to anyone who's as much into world building as you are. So it's so interesting. I'm really, yeah.
I get that. Most people aren't considering the world, but I've always found that the best stories with the best characters have great worlds, because your world is kind of a character in itself. It shapes the people living on it. Every interaction, every love story, every what's it called? Like, just like the reasons people are doing things, if it's a war story or a romance, it's all in this living, breathing ecosystem. And if you do a good job making it feel like the ecosystem they're in is real, it makes the characters and their love story even feel more real, I think, personally. Like
Wow.
that's kind of what I noticed. Because
No, that's wow, yeah.
do
I
you
don't that's so crazy. Yeah.
do you know Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes. That you mean the animated show, right? For
Yes.
yeah,
They,
from I think it's
I,
American, isn't it?
yeah, it's well, actually, I think it's Canadian
What? Okay. I
originally,
didn't know that.
or at least the creator is Canadian. I can't remember for sure, but I've always felt that one of the reasons that did so well was because it had such good world building, and it's,
Okay, because
everybody
I've
loves
never
that one.
yeah, I mean, oh my God, one of my best friends, he's for years, he's been like, you have to watch it. It's so spiritual because I'm very much spiritual and very much into most books I read are about spirituality and psychology and stuff. And he was like, you would love this. It's really deep, actually. And I never
It's
got
very
into it.
good.
I think I watched a few episodes as a child or when I was younger. I think it's been going on for a
Hmm.
long time. But then for a while, I had like a comeback, and like adults were watching it and really falling in love with the story as well. And so, yeah, you're not the first one telling me this. I should have a look. That's so interesting. Okay, and so you're doing that, and then the VTubing as well. I mean, the creating the VTubing characters as well. I mean, can you say they're characters or art, I guess?
Yeah, so we usually say OC, original character. So a lot of people will kind of, instead of writing an entire novel or an entire story, they want to just focus on their character. And so they'll nurture either a character that's inspired by lore from a different series, or that they want to be a part of a series and kind of like a fan OC, or they'll make like their own character with their own settings and stuff. And a lot of the people who used to just draw these OCs and didn't really have a good platform to really express themselves through their characters now have VTubing, and it's been blowing up because so many people want to either experience a different story or tell a different story about a specific character in a way that feels like, how do you say, like they can now do that in a way that's real and live and immediate and has like more interaction with fans and people. And because I mean, a lot of us, you wake up and you're like, man, I wish I was this or that or different, or I wish that the alien inside of me could breathe. So I feel like VTubing really gets a good outlet for that, and it helps you kind of find yourself while finding your character. And
Wow, that's so interesting. Oh my God, already I
yeah.
want to know so many things. Can I interrupt there? Like, so when you're saying the alien inside of you, I love that. I'm actually recently really into extraterrestrial lore, but like real lore. I'm really believing into this. Yeah, I'm obsessed lately with aliens actually. So it's funny that you came here and you call yourself Bitsy the Alien. But what do you mean with the alien within yourself?
Well, a lot of it comes from like being uncomfortable in my own body growing up, and a lot of like, when I was in school, anime and manga and even video games weren't popular. So I always felt like I had to choose to either interact with this world that I live in and put on this like face and do the customer service and, do the 9 to 5 and be, because I had a job at like 18. So it's like, either I suppress myself and I just be what people expect, or I be myself and I get, outcast. So it's like I've always kind of been battling this like my inner self that's true versus, reality that's around me. So, like, I've gotten to this point where I've accepted that I'm not the only one that's, I am unique and everyone is unique. Like, I've lived long enough to see that we're all in this weird, like, social construction. And it's more and more letting us be ourselves, but it's still kind of like nobody quite is, it's not connecting yet. So a lot of people are going super far. They're like, okay, I don't want to interact with this societal boundaries at all. And they're just going super far away from it, which isn't helpful to fixing the problem, or they're just not trying to fix the problem at all. So I feel like, Bitsy the Alien, being your inner alien, expressing yourself, letting yourself be unique, is also understanding that every single other person is unique. And that is we can all be unique together because we're all on this planet. Whether you feel human or not, we share this planet and we can work together in our own unique ways. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I
Oh my
want to
God.
advocate
Yeah, no,
for.
I love this. I love that so much. So basically for you, the inner alien or the alien inside of you means your true self, the real you. And that's so interesting because by what you said about that the society kind of that we're living in. I mean, we both live in Japan. Which
Yes.
is always like Japan is so okay, wait, I'm gonna go on a little tangent and hopefully come back here. But Japan is always so interesting to me because it has all these very specific artistic expressions of artistry in so many ways. Like, I don't know what it's called now, but this traditional Japanese artist like art of making furniture, but like perfectly fit into each other, like made out of wood, so that you'd never have to use metal. Like they like a puzzle piece, they fit into each other, and it's like this beautiful art, that they still do, but sadly, I guess less and less. Or for example, mangas and animes, like how creative and otherworldly and so alien they can be, and then at the same time, this like
Right.
dichotomy,
They're
I
all
don't know
the
what to
same.
call it. Yeah, and then you're in the society, the Japanese society, where everyone is following the rules and people try to not stand out much. I mean, I don't want to speak for all, but like I'm talking in very generalized terms now. Of course, there's people who stand out and who are very individualistic and very different here. But in general, traditionally, culturally, Japan is a country that's more community oriented than individual oriented, compared to
Right.
European countries. For example, I'm, Turkish, but born and raised in Germany and lived in London, and then you're American, right? So it's very, very different. So, but I think it's so interesting because I sometimes feel, I mean, my best friend, she always said to me, like, you feel like you always feel like you can be completely yourself in Japan. And I find that so interesting because for me, always it's been a country of absolute freedom for me, okay? But I understand that we live in the society where you have to kind of make a living, you have to pay the bills, you have to kind of like, all these things that you have to do as a human in society. So, and I'm also working, I have a I guess a 9 to 5 job. And so I know exactly what you mean there. And at the same time, that's so cool that you also found a way to, through your artistry, kind of express yourself in Japan, which I find that so interesting. Like, I always feel like recently, because I used to live in Japan a long time ago and now I'm back. Um, and then I used to again, so it's my third time actually living here in different times of my life. Um, But I feel like it's changed a lot, and there's more foreigners here as well. And so the art scene also obviously changed, and also in general, like just the Japanese way of doing things changed. But I always feel like the foreigners here are also here to sprinkle a little bit of like collective. If you look at the collective consciousness of Japan, I feel like we're sprinkling a little bit of like craziness and alienness here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember or if you were in Japan at the time, but back in the day, you know, the Zairyu Kado that you have as a foreigner, it was called like alien registration card.
Oh.
Do you know that? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
And I swear there was an alien picture. Maybe I'm tripping or it's the Mandela effect. I'm not sure. But it was called alien registration card. And all foreigners had to get this alien registration card. And I think at one point they were like, we should maybe not name this alien registration card, you know, because it was offensive or whatever, maybe. But at the time, I found that so funny. And I think there was a little alien on it. Man, like, I don't know, but someone correct me in the comments if this is craziness, if that never happened. But now it's called like Zairyu Kado. So it's just I don't even know what it's called in English. Do you know what it's called in English?
Either. No idea.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's so cool. So you're interacting.
Residence? Sorry.
Residence card.
Residence card.
Thank you. The residence card. So sorry, I went on a completely different tangent, but that's so cool that you kind of found your way in a different country and are following your passion and like doing that. And yeah. And like, since when? So this is my next question, but like, since when have you opted out of the 9 to 5?
So when we moved here, I didn't really have a job. So we moved here and my husband was working as an English teacher and we were way out in the countryside. And I was trying really hard to get my stuff up and running because I figured, you know, I could spend this time that we're in this really cheap area of living and I can get to the point where I'm making enough income on my work, on my art and my creations. And at that point, really my manga and comics and stuff. I figured, you know, might as well go full on into it. And I did that for a couple of years and it did not turn out well. It did not succeed. I had to go back and I had to go get a job. So I was not able to get my comic book to make any kind of money. We were running Kickstarters, we were doing things, and if anything, I lost money on most of the Kickstarters with shipping and everything after the fact. So it's like I have some books to show for that time and effort, but the amount of work that went in to the amount that I was able to bring home support for my family was not working out. So I ended up getting a job and I did that for a couple years, 2 or 3, can't quite remember. And then we moved here to Tokyo and just before we got here, I started doing VTubers like the year before, and that started bringing in some consistent income. So I was starting to actually get something to take off, but it wasn't really until these last 2 years where it really was like, okay, I don't think I need to go out and get a job. Like when we first moved to Tokyo, I was still looking. I was like, maybe I should get a job. Like I'm making some money, but not enough. So should I, you know, but I had a couple interviews. They didn't go very well. There was this local guy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was just, I had an interview for like a conveyor belt sushi and he's like, do you know what any of these fish are? And I'm like, he's like, do you like fish? And I'm like, He's like, you can probably leave. I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know, you take the orders and you give people fish. What's the big deal?
Oh my God, that's so funny. How did you, oh my God. But you know, that's so, you know what? But what you just said with the failing and then feeling like you tried it and it didn't work. And then you were like, okay, wait, I do have to find another job. Like I should do something. And then, but then now you're at a place where you do this full time, right?
Yep. Yeah, I do. And this last year, I was able to get a new computer and set up a new drawing tablet. I helped, you know, pay for stuff in the apartment. So that was like the initial, like, okay, I'm making enough, not quite as much as like a part-time, but enough for it to be okay. And now this year has been very, very good. There's still a ways to go, of course. If I want to, we've got a cat, so he's expensive sometimes. So got
Your
a ways to
expensive
go
mic.
before we can yeah, support that full time. I really, really would like to be able to get to a point where I can let my husband not have to work full time. If he could pull back to a part-time job, I would consider that success. Like, of course we
Wait,
all want to be famous and crazy, but like that would be solid. That's like eh.
wait. That is so. I think we talked about this before. I think you told me this before, but can we just go in? Well, first, what you just said earlier is actually amazing that you still didn't give up and you just was like, no, this is what I want to do. I'm just gonna do it. And then now you're at a place where you can afford to live in Tokyo, which is amazing. Um, but what you just said is so interesting. Can we talk about this? Can we talk a bit about relationships? Because
Sure.
so you wanna you wanna be at a place where you can provide for your husband.
Yes.
What is that? Can you tell me? I have never felt that feeling in my whole life. I mean, I do love supporting people that I love, and I have a partner as well, and we both support each other. But I never had that feeling of I want to be able to support, I mean, to provide for a man that I'm with. I've never felt that before. Can you please enlighten me? Like, what is this?
I think a lot of it comes from being raised by a single mother. She worked 3 jobs so that I could go to school and, maybe I didn't have the nicest clothes. Maybe I had a bunch of hand-me-downs, but, I was able to go to school. I was able to get a really cheap beater car, and she just worked so hard for me to have things so that I wasn't, outcast for that. And seeing her work ethic, like she worked at Big Five while I was in high school, and she worked at hotels at night shift, and she was starting up her massage business. So she's a massage therapist and acupuncturist. Now she's a doctor of acupuncture, but at that point she was trying to get herself into college for acupuncture. So she was saving for that, trying to, support a teenager and working 2 crummy part-time jobs on top of it all. And it was just like, I just woke up one morning and I saw her, like, for a person, for a human, and not for, like, as my mom. And I was like, wow, she is a strong person and she deserves my respect and everybody's respect. And she's a great role model. So, like, I've always had that work ethic, I guess. Like, of course, I was lazy and silly as a teenager, but I've always kind of had that, like, pull yourself up from your bootstraps mentality. Like, we were a poor family, but we all pitched in and we all worked together. And if you work hard, you can accomplish things. Maybe not the thing you set out to accomplish, but not working hard certainly won't get you anywhere.
Wait, but then still, that's just so interesting. So I see how you were brought up and how that inspired you to work hard and everything. But when you say you want to provide for your husband, does that mean he would also like, I mean, are you both compatible in that way where he feels like, yeah, he would actually like to just work part-time and let you provide for him? Is that something he also wants?
So I think he's sacrificed a lot for me. We came here to Japan for me because my art is, anime style, and I wasn't getting any traction in America at all. And, like, of course we both wanted to come here, but he took a crummy job for me. He's put all this effort in so that we could have any semblance of this life. And I see him working his really, really long hours, for not very good pay. And it's just like, he's so creative. I've seen him free, when we were in high school, because we've been together since I was 14. So I saw him when he was able to pursue his passions. And I want nothing more than to see him pursue his passions again, because he's so creative. He's so musical. He's so artistic. He's so well written. And we've got this, we want to write like a lifestyle blog called Life in Tandem, where we kind of do couples advice, and he puts together like videos and guides for, going to places, traveling, and all kinds of stuff. And I just want him to have time to pursue things he likes and to have fun
And
again.
so,
I want to see him
oh,
smile.
oh my God, I love that so much. That's so wholesome. I love that so much. I love you guys' relationship. I also love your husband. I mean, not in that way, but I love him like platonically. He's so cool. Um, and like you guys literally have a tandem bike that you
Yes.
drive around together. What is that
Yes.
in English? I don't know, but it's so
Right.
funny. It's
Yeah.
so cool. Right? Yeah, you guys are so cool. Like I cannot. But okay, that makes much more sense. But do you feel like also that because I mean, what I was meaning by that question as well is like I've never heard a woman say this. Genuinely, I'm
Mm.
not judging. I'm just like, wow, teach me what you mean because it's fascinating to me because I've met a lot of women who say, okay, I would love my husband to provide for me so I can do less or like, career wise. Or I've also met a lot of men who are like, I want to provide for sure for my wife or whatever. And then sometimes in gay couples, obviously there's different kinds of dynamics that I've heard, but I've never in a straight couple heard the woman say like, I want to provide for my husband so he can do what he loves to do. That is love. Honestly, I love that. And I think that's so
Thanks.
cool. But I want to know okay, maybe this is going a bit in a different direction, but what are what are your husband's, some of his creative passions that he would like to pursue?
Well, a lot of it is my main comic book, we kind of wrote it together. Like I started it on my own, but when we started doing Kickstarters, he jumped in and we restarted it completely from the beginning. And so he was storyboarding. So we would write it together and he storyboarded it, and he really, really enjoyed that. And he's told me multiple times he'd love nothing more than to spend all day working on the comic book. And, if he could get paid for working on the comic, he would. So that's one.
Okay,
But he's
wait,
also
but
very
then
athletic, so.
oh yeah, he is. He does look
Yes.
athletic too. He's very fit.
Yes.
But wait, that's so cool because then you guys could literally work together. I mean, you are working together then, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because then it's not even work because he loves doing that, and then you're also loving doing that, and that's so cool. I actually also coming from now this is going to be a bit of a more of a I guess relationship or psychological topic, but for me, I come from relationships. I had relationships in my past where I felt quite insecure and with very avoidant people who I felt like didn't really want to spend much time with me, so that was quite traumatizing. But now that I'm in a happy relationship and I'm in my 30s, I do feel like now that I'm with a partner who we live together as well, and we're planning on getting married. So I just love being with him every day, and
Yeah.
because of that closeness, like physical and emotional intimacy, real intimacy, I feel safe for the first time where I'm like, I want to actually have a business with you. I want to actually do something with you. Like, because then your lives get even more like merged. And I know that this might sound maybe scary for some people, but for me, it's so healing. It's been so healing to do everything with him. And I know now, there's some girls who are like, every time they have a boyfriend, they disappear and then they forget about their friends. That's not really what I'm talking about. But it's, for me, it's been so healing to be with a partner who just wants to be with me all day long. Like that's just, we're just best
Yeah.
friends. And you
Yeah.
guys are that way too. And so
Yes.
and I asked you before, sorry, this is going to go a bit again on the relationship thing, but I asked you before, like, because you guys have been together for 10 years? Is that no, longer?
Math. So it was 2009 when I was 14.
So
I'm
what?
31.
16
No, I'm
years?
30. I'm
17
just
years?
regular 30. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a while. I've lost track. 9 years of marriage, 10 years of marriage next year.
Wow, 10 years of marriage, but been together for 16 years. Is that might be correct then? Yeah. That is so beautiful. And I've asked you guys before, do you have one advice? It doesn't have to be long or anything. I remember what you told me when we talked about this off camera another day. But what's your advice for a long and healthy relationship?
I don't know if this is the same thing I said last time, but I mean, you've got to be friends. You have to be not just friends, but best friends. You have to want to be with this person more than just being happy with them. You have to want to suffer with them because life can be hard. So you have to want to suffer with them through this life. And obviously they have to want to suffer with you because everybody likes being around everybody when you're happy. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I'd love to, be with you all the time when we're hanging out and going to Disneyland and having fun. But as soon as it's hard, it's like, who has your back when it's hard? Who's going to be there for you and walk you through the mud of depression and pain? Like,
Damn, say it for the people in the back. Like, this is something oh my God, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but one of the reasons I ended multiple previous, I guess, relationships was because I felt like they only wanted to be with me when I was happy. And I was like, this is not realistic and this is not love. If you are only here to stay with me when I'm in a good mood, you can basically, okay, that was not what I was looking for. I always wanted someone who I was consciously looking for someone. I would literally talk with my best friend about this. Like, girl, I'm looking for someone who just wants to sit with me, however I might feel that day. And as you said, like going through the motions of life together, not just be like, yeah, we love having fun together. But then when she's crying, I feel like she's kind of being too much or too dramatic. Well, that's not a relationship. Okay. That's like sometimes you're checking in with someone. Like that's not
right,
cool. And I don't know. And at the time when I ended something with someone because of this. And I was like, I was like gaslighting myself. Am I wanting too much? Because he's a great guy or whatever I was thinking. But then I realized if someone abandons you, which that is abandonment, by the way, if someone is not with you when you're in pain, if someone abandons you when you're in pain, they're not, you're actually alone already. You're actually always alone. And so but I can be alone. I don't have to be
right.
lonely with someone that I'm with. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. And then what you said with being friends, I know so many people say this all the time, but it's so true. If you only have romantic attraction for your partner, it's not going to last. Okay. And like,
Right.
maybe you don't want it to last and then it's fine. But if you want something to last and you want like a partnership and like a long-term partnership that a lot of people I think are looking for and intimacy, long-term intimacy, then you should really like that person, dude. Like I know it sounds like, but in the beginning when you have these butterflies and you really like someone and it's just like this attraction and you just like, it's just romantic attraction, which I think is needed as well. But like at the end of the day, do you actually want to spend time with that person? Can you talk with them or do they listen to you? Can you just hold them? Can you just hold each other?
Yeah, can you be bored together? Can you entertain each other when there's nothing to do, when the power's out and you're just chilling?
You actually said this to me the last time I asked you. You were like, can you be bored together? And that was
Yeah.
so mind-blowing to me, the way you just said it. I was like, yeah, actually, that's so true. Because sometimes you're just sitting there, especially if you live together, and you're not saying much. And you don't have to. If you're with someone that you love and sometimes you're doing your own thing. Because, whatever, I'm doing this podcast right now and my partner is actually sitting in the other room listening or doing his own thing. And it's fine, And so it doesn't always have to be this excitement and this crazy, always something has to be happening because, for me, that's also a sign of trauma, actually, that you feel like it has to be dramatic. There has to be things happening all the time. It's like, know. I mean, life already throws you things sometimes, in your way. And yeah, I mean, that's so beautiful. I love that. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. And then going back to your art, actually. So you prepared your VTuber.
Yes.
You have her with you. Does she have a name?
Is Bitsy. She's me. This is
She's
my
you.
alien. Bitsy the Alien.
Okay, she is Bitsy the Alien, and you brought her with
Yes.
you. Can we show the world who Bitsy the Alien is?
Window. VTube Studio. Okay. Is it working?
Yes, it's working. There she is. Oh, she's so beautiful.
Hello. My inner
Hello.
alien. She's got alien coloration too.
My God, and she's moving when you're moving, and there's like facial recognition. Or I don't know what it's called, but wow.
Yeah, face tracking.
Uh,
And because I am a wiggly toed girl, her toes wiggle. And there's little
oh my God.
details.
The details. That's amazing. And her what's it called? Her tail? What is that?
So you know the Pokemon Mew? It's inspired by Mew.
Yes.
So she's my
I
little
know
alien.
you. Oh my God, I just had some flashbacks of my childhood when you said that. Oh, she can sit.
So she's got her
Ah.
little alien tail and her big fluffy alien ears.
Yes, I love how she's
Yeah.
naked almost.
Yeah. I've got a where is it? My modesty toggle. My modesty toggle because I can't show hips on Twitch. This is the wrong one. This isn't the 2.0. This is the oops. This one has no modesty. It's okay.
She is as she is.
She is
That's
as she
so
is.
cute. So you're doing the Twitch streaming as well with her?
Yeah. I've been doing gaming on Mondays, Japan time, and then variety streams on Fridays. So that's either art I need to work on, rigging for other VTubers, or potentially maybe we'll do interviews or something too. I'm just not entirely sure how I want to do that, but
Yes. Bring me on. I'm ready to talk with Bitsy the Alien.
yeah, me too. Yes. So if you or a friend have been wanting to express your inner anime girl or boy, I do commissions. VGen is a really great commission place. Most people know about Fiverr, but Fiverr's not so good. VGen, you go through like a vetting process before you can sell as an artist.
I didn't know
And
that.
yeah,
All
so
right.
it's a really great little platform. So it's just the letter V, and then GEN.com. And so you can find me on there at Bitsy the Alien. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Twitter X, but I mostly just post like, hey, I'm live. So if you want to get notified when I go live, you can follow me there. And then, of course, I do clips and stuff of the live streams, as well as the occasional, when I have time, self-help video on YouTube, because, finding your inner alien, expressing yourself in a way that isn't just, what's the word? As people, we need to express ourselves to other people in a way that is effective, but also in a way that is genuine to us. So it took me a very long time to learn how to do that. So one of the things I want to do with my VTuber is teach the younger generation these things that I had to learn on my own.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And once this goes on YouTube, I'm gonna plug everything down below and people can check you out. And I hope, I want to thank you again for being on the Kotodama podcast. And I want to, just thank you for supporting me. And also, I would love to be on your stream soon. So you can always hit me
Yay!
up.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I don't know if you want to come on as a anime girl or
Maybe. I don't know.
No,
Yeah, we
don't know
should talk
how
about
that would
that.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much.
Of course, anytime. And maybe we can
Yes.
even get Aaron on.
No, actually, yeah, I already asked him and he will come on.
Awesome.
I pretend I'm deluding myself that he said yes, but I'm not sure if that actually happened. But I want him on as
We'll
well
make him.
and talk about his experience in Japan and everything that he's doing here. And but yeah, thank you so much, Bitsy. And thank you guys for listening to the Kotodama podcast. From now on, there's going to be much more episodes. So please subscribe to the channel wherever you are or wherever you're listening to this. Actually, I have no idea. Subscribe, follow me, and follow Bitsy. And thank you so much. Bye. See you soon.